hard work, we built a dream that only willing hands could do. It's on display at our fall fairs and at all the festivals too. Erie beaches, Carolinian forests, where the flower and dogwoods bloom. Patchwork fields and rolling hills, it's just the place for you. Norfolk.
Everyone, I would like to remind everyone that our meetings are web streamed and televised, and would ask that you ensure your phone.
Sorry, I can't hear you, Mr. Chair.
Chris, you're frozen.
I'll run downstairs and make sure that he's okay.
Kevin just let me know that they're going to set Councillor Van Passen up with another laptop, so just hang tight for 5.
Okay, hopefully I'm back again.
I can be upstairs. You're gonna start out upstairs.
Okay, we'll try reading this all over again. So they just switched me to a different room, and hopefully the service stays connected here. So this is the problem why I can't do this from home. So I'd like to remind everyone that our meetings are web streamed and televised, and ask that you ensure your phone on silent mode. Keep your camera on mute and mute yourself when not speaking, and remember to unmute yourself if speaking. You can use the Microsoft Teams raise hand feature icon to be called upon and remove it after you finish speaking. We will begin today's special council meeting. We'll proceed to the Board of Health meeting once the special council concludes. Public hearing meeting begins at 3 p.m. So I will call the special council meeting to order, and we will look to approve the agenda and any changes in agenda. So could I have a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Councillor Martin, seconded by Councillor Columbus. All in favor? That's carried. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we will move to staff report discussion items. Staff report CS 2156. Municipal Modernization Program Intake Number 2, the Review Stream Transfer Payment Agreement. So Kathy LaPlante is scheduled to speak on this.
Yes, thank you, Chair Van Passen and members of council. I'll start regarding the funding and then pass it over to Brandon, who may want to expand and elaborate on the actual program and vision the Community Development Division has. So this report is a good news report to advise Council that our Community Development Division has been successful in securing $65,000, 100% funding under the Municipal Modernization Program Phase 2, the review stream. There's also a second stream that is also successful, the implementation stream, in which Community Development again submitted a second application as identified in the Ministry confirmation letter. So with this stream, though, a subsequent report with further details will be forthcoming for Council's consideration. However, under this review stream, the successful project that will be undertaken is a comprehensive third-party review of the Build Norfolk program that has already been identified within Norfolk County's Economic Recovery Plan. Staff has brought this report related to the review stream at this time, as there is requirement to have a confirming bylaw passed by September 20th. And in addition, this report is before councils to seek approval for a budget amendment and also for the necessary authorization to sign the transfer payment agreement with the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. So that's short and sweet, but at this time, I'll pass it on over to Brandon in case he has some additional comments regarding the program itself.
Yeah, thanks, Kathy, and through the chair. I think you covered it pretty well. This is part of our ongoing continuous improvement efforts, as outlined in our Community Development Division work plan that we had earlier this year, along with being one of the items that we have as a theme in the Economic Recovery Plan. And we're looking to undertake basically a series of actions that are aimed at streamlining the development process and for helping those that are going through it. So this grant that we've been successful at will assist us towards doing some third-party review. Now, staff are working on a number of enhancements for our processes as it relates to planning and building and helping with some of our economic development. And there's more to come, but this particular one is going to help us tackle some of the bigger changes that we want to make on and consider, such as a review of the site plan process is a little bit more of what this one's aimed at. So this is another positive news situation that we're able to do this. As Kathy mentioned, we have one about community engagement, that we have a report that's coming in September as well for us to use a grant towards moving forward with an engagement platform, which will really help all aspects of the corporation. But this particular one's going to help us offset part of that economic recovery plan money that council had set aside, and we had that direction to go and leverage it and use it to get grants. So we've gone and done that, and now moving forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Brandon and Kathy. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing one, would somebody like to move the motion or offer an alternative? Councillor Columbus, I think that's moving, seconded by Councillor Huffman. Or all in favor? That is carried. We will move on to staff report CAO 21-67 regarding the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation statutory holiday. Aaron Anderson, HR, to present the report.
Thank you, Chair, and to the rest of Council. So September 30th of each year, as you may recall, has historically been commemorated as Orange Shirt Day. And this is to honor and bring recognition to First Nations, Inuit, Métis survivors, their families, and communities. On June 3rd of 2021, the Government of Canada amended the Canada Labour Code to include September 30th as an official federal public holiday called National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. The intent of this day is to ensure public commemoration of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis history, and that the legacy of residential schools is recognized and remains a vital component of the reconciliation process. As the report outlines, this day is a new public holiday that applies to federally regulated public and private sector employers. The provincial government has not made similar amendments to the Employment Standards Act. However, in Norfolk County, the QP Collective Agreement, which represents the inside-outside staff members for a large component of our staff, the ONA collective agreement, which represents the nurses in public health, the OPSU collective agreement, which represents the paramedics, and the non-union policy that applies to all non-union staff, all have a provision in their agreements whereby it states any day proclaimed by the federal, provincial, or municipal governments are automatically recognized as a statutory holiday. There are 2 union groups within the county that do not include specific language in their collective agreements. The union groups are SEIU, who represent the service workers at Norview Lodge, and UFCW, who represent the registered nurses at Norview Lodge. These agreements just list the recognized holidays with no specific language related to the federal, provincial, or municipal declared holidays. Through conversations with our HR colleagues in other municipalities, we know that across the province there are inconsistencies across municipalities on how they're recognizing September 30th. Some municipalities are recognizing the day due to their obligations under their respective collective agreement language. Some municipalities are recognizing the day to reflect on what the day means and to reflect and/or participate in community events. Some municipalities are providing their staff with a floater day for this year in lieu of recognizing the September 30th as a statutory holiday. And other municipalities are not recognizing the day unless the province declares it a statutory holiday and amends the Employment Standards Act. However, given the increasing importance of Indigenous issues and the need for reconciliation, the significance of this day is something that is important to recognize across Canada, and therefore staff are recommending option 1 of the report, which is to recognize September 30th for all staff in the Corporation of Norfolk County. This option will treat all staff across the corporation in a fair and consistent manner as it relates to recognized holidays. This option will also reduce the impact of negative labor relations, as we would be honoring the language that was bargained in each of the collective agreements. In addition, by recognizing September 30th for all staff, this will align us with Haldimand County, who have already approved September 30th as a statutory holiday. And with that, I or members of the SLT team would be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. Councillor Columbus, you have a question?
Yes, my question is, you mentioned one county that's gone with option 1, but what about the other abutting counties that we have, Brant, Oxford, Elgin? How are they handling this item?
Through the chair to Councillor Columbus, we haven't been specifically in contact with those municipalities. However, through our HR group, any municipality that has the language in the collective agreement is recognizing it as a statutory holiday.
Thank you.
Councillor Vanden Rishi.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a little bit of concern. September 30th is around tax time. Am I incorrect in that? Property tax time?
Through the chair, Van Passen, to Councillor Vanden Rishi, tax installment due date is the end of October.
End of October, so not September.
That's correct.
That's right. So it was this month and then that. Okay. What about, is there any municipalities, say not taking an actual holiday, but say observing the Orange Shirt Day, that they weren't come to work in that to recognize it? It's always come to my belief that when you have a statutory holiday, sometimes people forget what they're for. And maybe if people were to stay in their positions and be at work and wearing an orange shirt or recognizing it and describing that to people, why, when people come in for any reason at the office, that they can be told. I'm not sure that a statutory holiday is for myself. I recognize it as Orange Shirt Day, and I recognize the need for it, and I recognize that maybe we shouldn't just be taking a specific holiday. More should be done. That's my comment.
I did chat with the mayor just a little while ago about it, that maybe staff could explain the option 3 a little bit better. Give the recognition of the holiday, but allow our staff a floating day, which they could use the 30th or any other time. And that would also, like, for starters, do that. And that would give us some time over the course of next year to discuss details better with the unions and work out the final game plan. So, Shelley?
Thank you. I'll start and then perhaps I can pass it over to Ms. Anderson as well. So through Councillor Van Passen, we have considered 3 different options in the report, and senior leadership team did recommend option number 1, and that was to treat all staff in the same manner. There is a companion report to this in your closed session package as it relates to a legal opinion on the collective agreements. So direct council's attention to that with respect to acknowledging the statutory holiday, as there are some collective agreements that do state that that statutory holiday requirement. We did provide an option 3 with a floater day for council to consider with an estimated cost differential in that option. We didn't go ahead and recommend that particular option. Is the thought from our legal opinion, as well as from a labor management standpoint, there is the potential that it would result in grievances and some negative labor relations with the large majority of our staff. One of the concerns we do have with the floater day is the administration of the floater day. Council is aware of our lack of robust HR and finance system, and so it does become somewhat burdensome tracking this floater day provided in option 3. And it also provides some difficulties and concerns as it relates to part-time entitlement for a floater day. With that, I'll pass it over to Ms. Anderson to provide any other comments. I would like to acknowledge, though, in the report, it does state that there would be communications and there would be some education to staff and some promotions on the day and the intent of the day. And I think that aligns quite nicely with the recommendations from AMO as well. But I'll pass it over to Ms. Anderson.
Thank you, Shelley. The floater day would raise a couple of questions that we would need to contemplate. And, when does an employee get that day? What if they're not able to take that day? Do you pay them out? Does that carry over? What does the part-time entitlement look like when they don't actually receive a day? And how do you calculate that based on stat day entitlement? So it just creates a lot of administrative work, and then monitoring who's taken it, who hasn't, following up with them to make sure that they've taken it, that sort of thing.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Huffman, you have a question?
I have a comment and a question, I guess. I just wanted to make my thoughts known on option 3, and that I don't support that in the least. If we're going to have a statutory holiday, and we're going to recognize it, I suggest that we recognize it on the day that it was meant to be recognized. I don't see something as important as Truth and Reconciliation to be used as an extra floater day for shopping at Christmas time or something like that. Used to work in a place where it was a floater, and it very quickly became a permanent holiday. It was Remembrance Day. So I feel very strongly that if we are going to move forward, I would suggest that I like option 1 with the condition that the language be removed from the collective agreements during the next negotiations.
Thank you. And yeah, staff did mention there is a companion memo in closed session, but there is no need for staff, from staff, to discuss that in closed session. So unless somebody wants to discuss it in closed session, we can just receive it as information in open session. So keep that in mind if anybody wants to discuss that one. So Councillor Columbus.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. With respect to option 1, I just want to mention that I would hope that staff that have this statutory holiday would actually use it in respect of what it really means, what this is all about, and not go shopping for the day or something like that. For example, on Remembrance Day, staff should at least attend a Remembrance Day service Whereas I know some of staff probably go shopping for the day with no thought at all about what that day is really meant for.
Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Chair Van Passen. If that was a motion from Councillor Huffman to endorse option 1, I would like to second that motion and support staff's recommendation.
And is there any need to move into closed session, or can we just sort of tack onto the motion that we receive that report as information, or deal with that after? If not, is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. And if somebody could put forth a motion to receive the companion memo as information, Councillor Martin, second by Councillor Taylor. All in favor? That is carried. I believe that is the end of our agenda. So we would move on to motion on confirming bylaw. Your mover and seconder. Councillor Taylor, Councillor Van Greasy, a motion to confirm the proceedings of Council of Norfolk County on the special council meeting held on the 7th day of September 2021 be approved, signed by the mayor and the clerk, and affixed with the corporate seal. All those in favor? That is carried. I see the mayor was here now, so Mayor, would you like to ask for a motion to adjourn?
Oh, that's, you go right at Councillor Van Passen, thank you.
Councillor Michelle, is that a motion to adjourn? All in favor? That is carried.
Perfect timing.
This is why you're in management, right? So now do we